That's the good stuff.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Goodwill Podcasting with your hosts, Dan and Stone. And we brought on our friend that you all have met before, Tristan, a.k.a. Martial Arts Film Freak, to talk about the latest movie, Mortal Kombat 2. Fellas, how are we today?
Doing well.
Oh, pretty good.
So, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we have a lot to talk about here with these Mortal Kombat movies, which I think people are generally enjoying, but not across the board.
I was going to say, I did not get the chance to watch the first one. I was telling Dan before we got on, my family's had some health issues going on recently. So, and funny enough, I think it's actually the first movie I've watched in like a month, like even at home, because I've just been grinding Fear the Walking Dead, which has been hard recently. But so it's nice to be back in the theater and watching movies again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, my theater, I saw this this afternoon, and my theater was pretty much full, so that was good to see. And it's doing okay so far, which is also nice to see. The box office is seeming pretty healthy.
I saw it at 9 p.m. on Thursday night, and my theater was nowhere near full.
Damn.
It was also 9 p.m. on Thursday night. I don't know. Maybe that has something to do with it.
So that was that the first available showing?
No, it was still showings like early. There was probably 3 or 4 showings before that. And
Okay.
even there was still like 2 more showings after that.
Gotcha.
I actually never played Mortal Kombat growing up, but I think I know the character's name, Sub-Zero, and it was hilarious because I went last night at 9 p.m. and there was a couple right next to me, and the girlfriend just had to be there in support because she, during like every fight scene, would just like yell, "Oh my God." Meanwhile, I didn't even notice till halfway through the movie, but her boyfriend was dressed like Sub-Zero.
Oh no! How like
It's dedication.
how good was this Sub-Zero costume?
It was impressive. I mean, like,
Okay.
I haven't played it, so I don't know like all the lore behind it and stuff. But I'd
I was
say,
thinking like, was this just like a man spent $10 or man like really worked and put that thing together?
I'd say it had to be somewhere between like 100 to 200.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it looked like he was pretty passionate.
Tristan, what's your level of fandom around Mortal Kombat, whether it be games or previous film iterations or whatever it may be?
So I'd say like a little higher than moderate. I'm not a hardcore Mortal Kombat guy. I'm not good at the Mortal Kombat games. As I say often on my channel, when it comes to fighting games, I am a Tekken boy.
Okay.
I'm quite good at Tekken, and I'm bad at everything else except for Injustice. I like Injustice. But so for Mortal Kombat, I grew up on this bad boy right here, and I guess this one too. That's not good. We don't talk about that one. But I grew up hardcore on this. We watched this all the time. Like during the end credits when the music is playing, my brothers and I would just start like fighting because that's what boys do. We just fought to Mortal Kombat music. When it comes to the games, I played a little bit of like Mortal Kombat 2, but then for the most part, my childhood with Mortal Kombat games is like Shaolin Monks and Deception and Armageddon, the ones on like PS2 and Xbox. The more recent ones, I think I played 9, which is really good, and I played X, and that's the last one I played because while playing X, I realized how bad I was at it, and I just put Tekken back in.
Who's your Tekken character?
I am Lee Shaolin.
Okay.
All day.
I like King and Kuma. Is that the bear?
Yeah.
Yeah, enjoy Kuma.
Yeah.
How many are
Tekken? How many Tekken or Mortal Kombats are there?
Mortal Kombat. Is there 10 now? Is that the
Games? No. There's 1 through 11, and then they just rebooted the series. Essentially, within the lore, at the end of 11, Liu Kang becomes a god. He becomes like the god of like reality because there's multiple gods. And he rewrites reality to be what he thinks is going to be like a better reality. So like every character is like a little bit different. So they essentially rebooted the entire franchise, but then also they're doing like a multiverse thing where like the world started like colliding and all the pre-existing universes before have to fight this new reality that Liu Kang created. Mortal Kombat is complicated.
Yeah. It's a lot of lore.
Yeah, like I said, I've never played it. I've maybe played it like twice, and it was literally like just at a buddy's house in his basement, and I button mashed for one game, lost, and then called it a night. So I didn't realize how expansive this universe was and how much lore there actually was. So I started like some videos I did, not nearly as much research as I should have in preparation for this episode. So
I'll tell you, if you want to watch or play something that's like gonna do the work, is just watch the full story mode for the 9th game.
Okay.
Because the 9th game opens with like the end of like Armageddon. They've essentially, all the heroes have lost and failed. The bad guy won. Raiden sends this medallion back in time for himself to find, and it like shows him the future, showing like we lost. So it goes all the way back to the first game, and you play through the entire franchise, making different choices to have a better outcome than what happened in games before. So like 9 is really essentially like the reboot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us, Tristan, the relationship between Shang Tsung and Shao Kahn? Shang Tsung is just like kind of a upper level minion. Is that right?
Yeah, he's Tarkin.
Okay. Gotcha.
Shao Kahn is the Emperor.
Okay.
So Shang Tsung he's not even Vader.
Yeah.
You know, he's Tarkin.
Thank you for putting it in terms I would understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw a little bit of that dynamic in this movie, but we'll get into it.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the first film in 2021?
The first movie in 2021 was the beginning of a very complicated year for Hollywood martial arts films. It was Snake Eyes and Shang-Chi. One of those movies is good. I was really excited. I'll tell you how my day went that day. I had just started working at my job I'm at now. It was during COVID. So I was at my then girlfriend, now wife's parents' house. I wake up in the morning, same day on HBO, right? I wake up at like 4:30 in the morning. I watch the movie. I drive to my parents' house. I take a shower. I record my video. I go to work. I then have like 3 coworkers and one of my managers going like, "What did you think? It's so good. It's amazing." And I was dumbfounded because I just went, it was so bad. Not good. And I'll tell you, like, it was crazy excited going in because the cast was halfway strong. Despite what people think of Cole, I'm a big fan of Louis Tan. Been loving him since the show Into the Badlands.
Why do people not like Cole?
Because he's not an original character. Sorry, because he is an original character. Yeah, people want the established people, which I don't mind. I don't mind Cole. Cole's not the problem with that first movie. Cole is a scapegoat. That whole movie's bad. So, like, I was excited for like Louis Tan, Hiroyuki Sanada, Joe Taslim. There was probably like 1 or 2 other people that Max Huang as Kung Lao, and a little bit on Ludi Lin. So, like, which of those few people, I was like, this is all great. The rest of the cast, whatever. So, like, I remember at the time, like, us in the martial arts community were like, this movie sucks, but that first fight scene is really good. Looking back at it, I watched that fight scene again. That first fight scene is also not very good. So that whole movie is just kind of meh.
It's an interesting movie where that opening scene feels almost like it's cut from a different movie.
It does, yes.
It is very serious. I think what's interesting with these movies to talk about is like, I think they're always kind of grappling with the tone and how they want them to feel. And you know, I watched both of them today for the first time, and there's a scene in the first movie that kind of sums up, I think, a lot of my feelings in movies like this, where Sonya Blade is talking to Cole, and basically she's kind of exposition dumping, and she brings up the concept of Mortal Kombat and says the phrase for the first time, and then there's a pause, and Cole's like, basically like, "Well, that's fucking stupid. They spelled
Mhm.
combat wrong. Blah blah blah. That's dumb." Like, and it's like, I hate when movies do that. Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do something this ridiculous, you got to be confident. Like, you got to want to
Mhm.
do it. You got to have love for it, and don't be embarrassed. And that's like the entire X-Men trilogy from the early 2000s with, the assorted pedophiles that were directing them.
Yeah.
Like, all those movies were kind of embarrassed, right? Like, they were
That's the
like, we're
Hollywood problem,
serious
though.
movies. Like, and it's like you gotta just go for it and have fun. And
Yeah. But I mean, that's like a greater Hollywood problem because, like, as much
yeah,
as the Avengers universe, the MCU is as solid as it is, despite the past handful of years, they've always found time to make some sort of joke.
yeah,
But like, and randomly come to my mind is like maybe that's why John Wick works so well. Is John Wick has this crazy deep lore of this world that they've made, and they never once joke like this is weird. They just like accept like yeah, there's assassins everywhere.
yeah. And they're leaning into like the camp of it.
Yeah.
And I think the first movie does in bits and pieces. I think this movie definitely does. But it's a struggle, and I think you can't be embarrassed of your source material.
Yeah.
The first movie I thought was very up and down. Uh, is there anyone that sticks out to you guys, and Connor, just for you in the second movie, as like not giving a very good performance in these movies?
Um, let me look at the actress's name. Whoever played Jade, I feel like she was very up and down in the movie for me for
Tati
performance.
Gabrielle.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
I thought she did a good job. Jessica McNamee,
Yeah,
Sonya
McNamee.
Blade.
Yeah.
I was also
I'm
going to bring her
sorry,
up.
like the performance is so bad that it's like almost distracting.
Mhm.
Um, and I think she had a couple moments in the second movie that were better, but like in the first movie, it's really, really jarring, especially to be such a like playing such an important character. Um, but a lot of the performances are kind of up and down.
Since you know a little bit more of the lore, Tristan, is Johnny Cage like the main character of Mortal Kombat or like a big focus in any of it, or is
No,
it because they have Carl Urban?
I mean the main trio, the trinity of the series has always been uh Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, and Sonya Blade. Like
Okay,
that's the trinity of the series. But you really could make the better argument that the main character of the series is Liu Kang.
okay,
Yeah,
he was
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah. Liu Kang has always been like he's arguably the original Bruce Lee coded video game character. Like every fighting game character has a Bruce Lee character. Like he's the OG one, and he was definitely like he's the hero of Earthrealm. He's the one who defeats Shao Kahn by the end of like every game.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I really liked him in this.
are you familiar with Maybe we can kind of talk through the cast a little bit. Tadanobu Asano.
Yes, Tadanobu Asano.
What's eh, how do you feel about him as an actor? How do you feel about his take on Raiden? Raiden's like my guy, my character. I was very excited to see him. How do you feel about his portrayal in these movies?
I think that they don't necessarily make him the deepest character in the world. So like Tadanobu Asano gives as good as a performance as you can. Like he's huge in Japan, like Ichi the Killer,
Mhm.
a movie that I couldn't finish because that movie is fucking disturbing. But yeah, no, they don't give him a whole lot to do. Like in especially by like that ninth game, like he's like a super conflicted character because he like I said, he has that like medallion that showed him how the future is gonna go. So he's trying to direct everybody and be like, we can't do what we did the last time, apparently. So you do that. And when people when people stray off the path, it really makes him such a conflicted character. And you don't get any of that in this. Like he's just kind of a baseline, like I'm the guy in charge, listen to me. And that's whatever.
Understood. Yeah, I think he's fun. Um,
Have you
I
ever seen,
really
I'm sorry, I'm curious because you said that Raiden is your guy. Have you ever seen Mortal Kombat Legacy?
I the only other Mortal Kombat movie I've seen a very long time ago was the OG, I guess, from '95. That was Paul Anderson.
Yeah.
I believe.
I was just
I vaguely remember it. That's all I've seen film wise outside of these.
I was just curious because they do an episode in Legacy. So Legacy was a web series. I've got seasons 1 and 2 right here. And the Raiden episode, they put a caption at the beginning of the episode saying, like, this is not the lore. This is us just doing something we think is cool. And the episode is literally Raiden comes down, bolts of lightning, hits the ground, but he lands like outside of a psych ward. And so he just starts telling people like, I'm the god of thunder. And they take him into the psych ward and he has to like get out.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really entertaining.
I think just a quick segue. I think there's been a lot of discussion recently about video game adaptations, especially around the new Resident Evil movie that Zach Kreger's doing. And there's been a lot of interesting, I guess, discourse about how video games should be approached. Should these movies be made for the fans strictly? Should they be very loyal to the source material and careful, or should they be kind of like an open sandbox for creatives to play in and to make their own story? I think this year we also got the new Mario movie. And looking at something like that, I'm like, man, there's so much. This is such a fun sandbox to like be creative, and it's kind of like there isn't that much story with Mario and all that. You can kind of do what you want, and I wanted to see more liberties taken and more interesting stuff done with the characters. And I think that I kind of lean that way in general. But I think the thing with Resident Evil is like Zach Kreger was saying things where like he was getting stuff wrong about the source material. He was like making mistakes and saying things that weren't accurate. And like I think it's fair for people to look at that and be like, do you like Resident Evil? Like, like I'm not a big Resident Evil guy. I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat guy. I would never pretend to like really know this shit. Like, so I think if you're gonna make a movie based off the material, you can do what you want and be creative, but at the same time you should have like respect and understanding of it, I think. So I think it's an interesting conversation. I wanted to see how you guys feel about that in general.
Well, in his case, I've seen like he did like an IGN video sort of just breaking down the trailer, and he sounded extremely passionate. Like he made the argument, he made the case for why he took the perspective that he did, just saying like, in my view, he said, in my view, this movie, which obviously looking at it has nothing to do with any of the games, he said, in my view, while what's going on with Leon at the beginning, or what's going on with Leon in Resident Evil 2, that's what's going on like right in the heart of the city. This is like this is this guy's experience on the same night, and he's not some like hardcore action cop. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
And like just the way he described the tone and everything, I was like, oh yeah, that guy loves Resident Evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it all boils down to what video game franchise you're talking about. Like I agree with you with Mario, Sandbox, but like Mortal Kombat, everything I think should stick to the lore because of how much there is. But like I know there's the big rumor about or big project coming up about the Call of Duty movie or show, whichever it is. Like that one,
that's gonna be some propaganda ass.
Well, I mean,
holy shit.
Okay. That aside, you could just make it a really good war movie, and you don't have to stick to the lore too much. I mean, you could have like
if you're gonna use like you gotta use the characters, right? Like
oh yeah, I'd better see Captain Price.
You could give us like a random mission that we didn't know about, like in the Call of Duty verse, and have it be Price and Soap, and
right. And I think the way you may go with the Call of Duty movie that's not just propaganda is maybe give not like a Captain Price origin story, but maybe like what's one of those missions that he went on in his like slightly younger days, like maybe like in his like early 40s, late 30s, that really like shaped him. Like do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or like, do we know how like Price and Soap met? I'm not that familiar with Call of Duty's lore.
I'm not sure on that one.
Like you could do
what do y'all think of Sonic? I have not seen 3. I dropped out after 2. I also haven't seen the last Mario movie because I didn't care about the first 2 Sonics and the first Mario, so I didn't see the second of that.
So I've never watched a Sonic movie. I have never played a Sonic game. Sonic is something I just do not give a fuck about. I just do not care. So
So
Yeah.
I've never been into the games. I like played a little bit of ones that were on like PS2 when they were bad, when they went 3D. But like I watched the first one, kind of excited about it. I don't think they need all the human characters. I think there's plenty of fun characters there to
I've
just
heard that a lot.
be cartoony.
Yeah.
But my problem wasn't even that the movie is bad. It's that the first Sonic movie was just so inoffensive. And I just mean that in the most bland way possible. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be like entertaining for kids, but like be more than bright colors. And then I watched Sonic 2. I don't know why I got excited for Sonic 2, like vaguely. I waited till it was on streaming though. And when I watched Sonic 2, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be really fun. And then it was the exact same feeling. And then I watched Mario, the first one. I haven't seen the second one. I watched the first Mario, and it was the exact same inoffensive, bland, colorful feeling. So I didn't see the third one.
Thing.
Yeah, I didn't see the third. I didn't see the second of that.
It's just it feels like video game cutscenes that are sort of just back to back to back to back. Like there's no the characters just kind of do stuff. There's like some attempts at laying some interesting groundwork with like 3 or 4 stories, and they all just like evaporate.
Right.
Which again to me is just so unfortunate because like they are fun, iconic characters, and I just refuse to believe it would be that interesting to make like a simple emotional, or not even emotional, just like entertaining story with some development, some character dynamics, like an arc here or there, like just something. But
I think one of my favorite quote unquote video game movies, and Dan will probably make fun of me for this, is Pixels.
I've never seen it.
It's like I watched the movie and I know it's not good, but I have so much fun with it. And I think Josh Gad is absolutely hilarious in it. It's like a comfort movie for me, and I have rewatched that movie more times than I care to admit.
I just never saw it because there's already an episode of Futurama that did it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, there's an episode of Futurama where like they have literally I think it's called a what if machine. You pull the lever down, say what if, and it shows you on the screen what if. And Fry's is what if like my favorite video games from my childhood like showed up in the real world, and they literally do Pixels 20 years before Pixels.
On the same topic of sort of video game movies and stuff, I watched Wreck-It Ralph the other day for the first time.
The first time?
Man. Yeah, the first time. And I know I really liked Ralph. I found every single supporting character in that movie to be insufferable. Sarah Silverman.
It's so good.
Sarah Silverman's fucking voice acting. Oh my god, I was about to put a drill through my skull.
Alan Tudyk is King Candy?
I mean, sure. He was like I would say he was fine, like, but something like I still overall I guess enjoyed it. I thought it was creative, but too much Sarah Silverman, man. That voice was terrible.
I don't
know.
I think that kind of falls into the category for me like clippable movies. Like there's scenes in it where like if I like scroll past a clip on TikTok, like I'll watch it, especially from the second one. Like there's a really entertaining scene with all the princesses involved that I find entertaining, but like it's not a movie I think I'll go back and rewatch anytime soon.
I once every few months will quote Zangief in the bad guys meeting and just say, like, what does it say? It's you might be bad guy, but that does not mean that you are bad guy.
Yeah, that was one of the best scenes. Everything around Ralph, I enjoyed, and it was a fun idea. I mean, very creative. I just was a tiny bit underwhelmed, but still fun.
I get it. I don't know what that came out like. What my like sophomore year of high school, and it was
20. I want to say like.
Wasn't 16?
16? No, I'm just making shit up.
No. I graduated 2015.
2012.
Okay, so that's like freshman year for me.
It's older than I thought.
The sequel was 2018.
I would have been 7th grade for that first one.
God, Gal Gadot's in the sequel too. Oh no.
Is that how you say her name?
Gadot, I think technically. Yeah.
You're the name pronunciation guy here. All right.
Only for people I respect, but Anyway, um, I guess back to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we want to get into the second one.
Yeah. Do you want to give like a brief synopsis, Connor, or
Yeah, I'll read what Letterboxd has. All right. Finish the fight. The fan favorite champions, now joined by Johnny Cage himself, are pitted against one another in the ultimate no holds barred glory battle to defeat the dark rule of Shao Kahn that threatens the very existence of the Earth Realm and its defenders. Fun fact. Going into this movie, since Dan brought it up to talk about this movie this weekend, like I said, I don't know anything about the lore of Mortal Kombat. I don't watch trailers, and I had seen maybe like a few ads on like TikTok or whatever social media of Carl Urban. And in my head, when I was sitting down for this movie, I was thinking it was going to be the movie that had like Cody Rhodes in it, and like all of that cast. And then I saw the trailer for Street Fighter in the theater for this, and I was like, "Oh, I'm seeing a completely different movie than I thought I was."
I think that's going to be slop. Like
I'm
truly.
into it. I'm in. I didn't think I would be, but I am in. I saw that trailer. Have you ever seen Kung Fury?
No.
Treat yourself. It's 30 minutes. It's a short film. It was made by a guy who was like super passionate. It's a low budget sci-fi martial arts short film. He's this like break the rules cop fighting Nazis. His police chief is a guy with a triceratops head. It's goofy, it's weird, it's crazy sci-fi martial arts stuff. But it's amazing. It's good. 30 minutes. I promise you're going to have a fun time. When I saw that trailer for Street Fighter, it gave me Kung Fury vibes, and I thought that's the right vibe.
Okay.
Treat yourself with Kung Fury, and then hope Street Fighter feels like Kung Fury.
How's Kung Fury compared to the special effects of Velocipaster?
I haven't seen Velocipaster, but I hope it's nearly as good as Cocaine Bear.
Oh, I'm telling you, Cocaine Bear makes Velocipaster look. Actually, I'm sorry. Velocipaster makes Cocaine Bear look like Interstellar.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn. We mentioned Carl Urban, I guess, is the big kind of star being added to this movie. How did you guys feel about Carl Urban's Johnny Cage?
Not knowing the lore. Yeah, not knowing the lore behind anything or any bit to do with Johnny Cage. Carl Urban has disappointed me both on Wednesday from The Boys and now in this in Mortal Kombat.
Tristan?
He character-wise, whatever, he does a mediocre job. I think that there's an actor who could have done a far better job with both the character and the action, but I mean, he's again, my word slightly before this was acceptable. I think the better word I used previously in my review of this was serviceable. Carl Urban, much like most of this movie, is serviceable. And I think that I have one guy that many people would know who I would say would do it just on so much better.
Can I guess?
Yeah, you probably got it.
Is he blonde?
Is he what? Is he blonde?
Is he blonde?
Blonde? No.
Oh, I was gonna say Ryan Gosling.
No, I went with one of my guys that I figured you would say.
Can you give me a small hint?
John Wick Chapter 4.
Oh, Chapter 4.
I'm blanking on the name. The family.
Killa?
The family.
No, Killa from John Wick Chapter 4.
Is Killa the? I'm struggling to remember. John.
He was the big European dude who could fight.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were talking about Skarsgård for a minute.
No, I'm talking about Scott Adkins.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's not just because he's a fighter. It's not just because he could have done good fight scenes. It's because, you want a guy to come in and play this like middle-aged actor from a passé genre? Bring in the guy who's a middle-aged martial arts actor from a passé genre. And I promise you, obviously this character, Johnny Cage, is extremely camp. Every single line he delivered was campy as hell. if you want someone who can do camp, Scott Adkins, while he is a very good actor, can do camp, and he can do camp on purpose, and it's good. Go watch Max Cloud.
I think it's really up and down from Carl Urban.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the first half of this movie that he's in, he kind of I felt like he felt embarrassed to be there. I felt like he was not really bought into what the movie was, and I felt like he was kind of half-assing it. I do think he got better, almost as the character gets more confident and like leans into his charisma more, but some of the stuff early on is kind of painful, but there are moments I really liked. Like everything with Baraka, that whole sequence was fabulous, very funny. And that's the kind of the point in the movie where I was like, I like this movie. Like this is fun. But he has some moments here where I'm just like, are you just trying to get a check, or like what is going on?
Yeah, I think maybe it was just him being on a big green screen or something. But yeah, you could really feel as he is being introduced to the world and is all confused and scared and all that stuff that he doesn't feel completely in it.
Yeah, the fish out of water sequence. Connor, do you want to give us your kind of overall take on the movie?
Yeah. I thought all the fight scenes were like very entertaining and gripping, but also with the tournament style of the movie, I thought a lot of times that pulled away a lot from kind of helping the audience understand, which I think is like a weird line the directors and writers have to walk when you're making a movie like this for someone like me who's never played it, but you still want to grasp a newer audience. Trying to like explain it all. I mean, you guys can tell me too, but also my fault in life that I didn't get to see the first one. So maybe I am missing some stuff that they walked that line better in. That's one of my bigger complaints, is just like how much it pulled me out. The acting was very up and down in this, like we've already been talking about. Sonya Blade or Jessica McName, however you say it.
McNamee. Yeah.
McNamee. Okay. Like Big Stain, Carl Urban, very up and down. The first half of the movie, I agree with you, Dan. It felt like he was embarrassed. It felt like he didn't even know if he wanted to continue with this movie. Also, like the other big complaint I have is just like how quickly Johnny Cage flipped how he felt about fighting in this tournament. And then like how, like, I mean, I get it took the whole movie to get there, but like at the end when he's going to the Nether Realm, and he basically says like, you know, for passion or for everyone else. And it just, I feel like he didn't do much in that movie to either A, be convinced to be in this tournament, stick around and keep fighting, and just go back to the bar and keep drinking. And it was just too quick for me.
Yeah, I had that similar complaint with him where, it was, he didn't, obviously we see him fish out of water. I don't want to do this. Send me home. And by the end, he's like, oh, I get it. This is who I'm supposed to be. This is this. The most we see go towards that direction is we see somebody like give him like an ego boost, like within that fight against Baraka, and Baraka is like, oh, you're actually dope. Like that's the only thing we see that may drive him towards that position. Nothing else really. We don't see outside forces that cause him to want to be the hero. He just suddenly decides like, I got to step up. Like, okay, well, what made you make that decision?
Yeah, that's
also, did he have the mark? Did they show that?
So that's what I was going to say with Conor here, of saying like maybe I'm missing something that was in the first one. The second one is I think the director even said like we're just straight up ignoring that. I think I saw him refer to it as we're ignoring our midichlorians. Is pretty much how he phrased it. Like the first movie, Conor, the way that like you saw, you know, like Jessica McNamee, Sonya Blade had like the gun hands, and everyone has like some sort of special power. In the first one, they call that their arcana, I think. but you have to like earn your arcana. And sometimes that might just be killing somebody who has theirs. That gives you yours. I don't know, something like that. They don't talk about that at all in this movie. They ignore it. They don't bring it up. They just say, what's your power? And so like the one time that Johnny Cage is like, I don't have any powers. I'm just good looking. Like that's what they're talking about of someone being like, oh, well, don't you have like an arcana? They just never say arcana. They just say, what's your power?
Well, I mean, at the beginning when he first gets to the temple, or what I'm going to call it a temple, and he sees the three fighting down below, she's introducing him basically from above who they are, and he sees all this. She kind of says like, you have to earn your power.
Yeah.
And then he gets real sassy and is like, and you brought me in last minute.
Yes, like in the first one, like earning your arcana is like a core plot point.
Okay.
Yeah. Like the whole movie is basically Cole, right? Cole's basically Cole getting his ability, and like sometimes you have to get like super fucked up and like absorb a lot of pain, but also they have a mark, like a dragon insignia on their skin that like makes it so that they're potentially involved in the tournament itself. And like Sonya Blade never had that in the first movie. And then she still gets
from killing Kano, didn't she?
That's
because
when
in
she got
the
her,
first one
that's
they
when she got her
said
ability, but I wasn't sure if she actually had the mark. Did the mark appear?
Yeah, because I think like they said like you're born with this mark, and that mark like deems that you were destined to be in this tournament or whatever. But like that's the thing of if you kill somebody with the mark, you get their mark.
Understood. Okay.
Yeah. So I think she got the mark from killing Kano.
Yeah. Also, she's like
maybe I'm misremembering. Yeah.
Yeah, I know she got her ability, but I like Kano. I think Josh Lawson is it in this. I like what he's doing. I think he brings a lot of energy. He's very funny. He seems to know what these movies are, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, he is. In the first one, he was like the highlight of the movie, and he might be the highlight of this one too. He's the most self-aware person in the whole cast. He's the most charismatic somehow. Like, you know, a movie that has Carl Urban in it, who's, you know, I love Carl. I as I joked in my video about it, like I love Carl Urban so much. I love Carl Urban and Riddick. But like Josh Lawson, he's good. He's real good.
Yeah, and overall, I think
what I said earlier, he might be my favorite character in this.
Kano.
Yeah, he was so funny.
Yeah, he is funny. I think the cast overall was fairly solid. Adeline Rudolph as Katana has a lot to do here. I thought she was a good Katana. I think this movie, you know, has some very simple emotional stuff it sets up between Katana and Jade, which is very much like a Nebula and Gamora kind of relationship. And then also between Liu Kang and Quan Chi. Is that his brother?
No, Kung Lao.
Kung Lao. Yeah. I thought that stuff worked. I thought their fight scene was
the best in the movie.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
It was very creative. I liked how like the hat becomes like freaking Cappy from Mario Odyssey, but it like the incorporation of the blade hat was very it made the fight suddenly a 2-on-1 fight in a very creative way.
Yes, absolutely. Quan Chi is the necromancer.
He's the sorcerer, the necromancer, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I also think the best thing that fight did too was like kind of prove to the audience, like myself, that Liu Kang is that guy. And so when he went on to face, you know, everyone else throughout the movie, you weren't like questioning how is he keeping up with this guy who has like an immortal amulet in his
resurrected
chest.
Oh yeah.
And Ludi Lin is Liu Kang. I thought he did a really good job.
Yes.
He looks great. He's got a great look. Dude is jacked out of his mind. And I also I thought the guy that's
Kung Lao.
I thought he was very good, and their dynamic together is fun. And like even in the first movie, the comedic the kind of sidekick energy they have together, I thought was good, and I feel like they're believable as brothers. Um, but I think the simple emotional stuff works in this outside of Johnny Cage, I guess, kind of developing is kind of like whatever. But I think it's like you said, serviceable.
Mhm. Yeah, Max Huang is again one of the people I was excited about in the first one. Before that, he has a great short film he directed on YouTube. It's about 20 minutes long, called like No Way Out. It's fantastic. But he used to be a member of Jackie Chan's stunt team back in like the early 2010s.
And he's Kung Lao, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
he's good.
He is. How did you feel, Tristan, about the actual the combat in general in this movie? There's some sequences that I think look slow as shit. Like there's a couple fights where I'm like, you guys are moving in molasses.
Yes. So the only fight scene I truly enjoyed a lot was the Kung Lao and Liu Kang fight scene. I don't
Yeah.
really enjoy almost any other fight scene in this movie. I reckon I would describe it as, I don't know. That was the Kung Lao and Liu Kang fight scene was the fight scene for the martial arts fans, and every other fight scene was just like, hey, do you like Mortal Kombat? We're gonna do the bloodiest Mortal Kombat we can do. And that's, whatever. If that's what they're going for, that's what they're going for. They nailed it if that's what they wanted, and that's not what I wanted. But that's also evident of like the reason that Kung Lao and Liu Kang can be what it was, and it can also be shot the best, it can be framed the best, it looks the best, is because that you put two guys on screen who can do the moves. You don't have to cut away to the back of the head for a stunt double. You don't have to worry about doing an overhead shot, which they do a lot in this movie, and I don't like. To hide a stunt double, you don't have to do a CGI double. You just shoot two guys who can do it. And that's why that's the best looking fight in the movie. Every other fight, like you're saying, it's kind of slow. It's covered in CGI. It's covered in bad cuts for stunt doubles because the whole rest of the cast outside of Louis Tan and, of course, like Hiroyuki Sanada, Joe Taslim, all those other people can't do anything. And it's evident.
Yeah.
I think one fight that I actually really enjoyed, I want to know what your guys' opinion are since you just said that, Tristan. I'm blanking on the guy's name, but it was Shao Kahn versus the guy who had the blood of
Blood of Scorpion?
Yeah, Scorpion in him.
Yeah, so that was Louis Tan as Cole, yeah.
Okay. I liked that fight.
Yeah, that one's not bad. Yeah. And even like Martin Ford, I like Martin Ford. He's another guy that he does come from I guess he's like come exactly from like the low budget background, but he himself, he's got a handful of like action and martial arts movies under his belt. He's a big dude who can move.
Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
He's a big motherfucker.
And what's weird is I thought he looked smaller in this movie. Like I've seen him look massive. I was like, did he slim down a little bit for this role? Because he is
6'8",
a massive
350.
human being.
Jesus.
Yeah. There's a picture of him standing. He's like the final fight in Undisputed 4 with Scott Adkins. And there's a picture of him standing next to Scott Adkins. And like Scott Adkins is not a small man. And he like dwarfs Scott Adkins.
That's insane. And obviously, you're the martial arts film freak. When you watch movies like this, or even John Wick, or anything really, it's kind of like me with shark movies. Like I'm trying to look to identify what the shark is in the movie, like before like reading any description or what the director wanted the shark to be. Do you look and see like, oh, that's, a Muay Thai movement, a judo movement?
Not all the, I wouldn't sit in that. I'm probably not even most of the time, really. It depends on what I'm watching. If it's a Hollywood movie, I'm not gonna be able to point out anything because Hollywood doesn't care, But if it is a martial arts film, then like it used to really bug me. It's why if you ever hear me talk, I say kung fu or martial arts film, because typically when you say martial arts film, most people are talking about a kung fu movie. But some people will say, "Oh, I love karate movies. I love kung fu movies. I love the." But I'll be like in my head, I'll be talking about Ong Bak, which is a Thai film. So it's all Muay Thai.
Yeah, one of the ones you sent me.
And so people will say, "I love karate movies" or "I love kung fu movies," and my nerd brain is frying because I'm just like, they don't do kung fu in that movie. They do Muay Thai. Why are you saying so? Like that's my nerd brain freaking out there. But for something like this, no, I don't really look for that. but also like I don't think of Mortal Kombat that way. Obviously, like you look at John Wick, it's a lot of like judo and jiu-jitsu. Like if this were like a Tekken movie, Tekken is much more fighters from all over the world and everybody has a different style. You're going to get a Taekwondo guy, a Muay Thai guy, a boxer, a karate guy, Shotokan, Capoeira for Eddie Gordo. I don't really see Mortal Kombat that way. Mortal Kombat is kind of just a bunch of brawlers and people that do Kung Fu. It's just kind of what Mortal Kombat is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had no follow-up. I was really just curious.
I hear you.
That's something you do.
Can we talk a little bit spoiler wise?
Yeah.
How did you guys? We just talked about the fight. Cole just gets kind of deleted.
Yeah.
And I will say, I understand maybe they heard some of the reaction to him in the first movie, and maybe that's it's a reactionary move. I like the character. I think it's for something like this. I think it's good to have like sort of an like audience insert for someone who's new to the world, and then seeing that character grow, I think is interesting. I thought that his abilities are very generic, like, and it just kind of makes him indestructible. It's like, yeah, you hit me and I power up. Like, I think that was a little bit simple, but
I like the way they work it into his character in the first one, but they don't go into any of that in this one, of course, at all, because we already established all that.
Yeah, he's just kind of full powered. But I honestly enjoyed the willingness to let characters die in this.
Yeah, that was pretty brave.
I think it makes it makes me instantly lock into a story and be like, oh, okay, there's stakes. Like, and then in every fight, like even in the Sonya Blade fight, I was like, I don't know if she's gonna live or die. And I think that's really interesting. And for a movie like this, you want to feel like there are stakes, which makes me, the ending of we're going to hell to get everybody back. I was like, can you not do that?
Yeah,
like,
and what I didn't see that coming, but I knew that there was something more going to happen. Obviously, we have Quan Chi who can resurrect the dead. They make the excuse, which I do think is a pretty funny excuse, for why Kano isn't all zombified, and they're just like, he's just like, I don't have time for that, and also he barely has enough of a soul to transform anyway. And Kano just being like, aha, cheat code. That's pretty funny. But I mean, Mortal Kombat always does that, finding some way to bring somebody back. But similar to the similar to complaining about Johnny Cage not having like steps to his change, Liu Kang, who again we're spoiling stuff, he dies at the end of this. But does he? Like, he just suddenly, like, he gets stabbed with the
pretty
axe,
badass.
which is pretty bad. It was pretty badass the way he did it. But then, like, all of a sudden, he's just enlightened, and he's like, I know my path. And I'm like, okay, how'd you figure that out? Cool that you did it. I like how you did it, but why? How did you get here? So obviously, he's that sort of set up there. Like, that was the first like drop of like, we're dropping something for the sequel.
It's setting up the Liu Kang spinoff.
Maybe.
Yeah. He kind of pulls like a Dumbledore Phoenix and just like turns into flames, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
They make a lot of Dumbledore and Gandalf jokes in these movies, like over and over and over. I'm like, bro, all right, please stop it.
I was kind of entertained
by it. It's not 2010. Nah.
So I have like this weird
one ring to rule them all.
That was funny, I thought.
Yeah.
That was funny. But
I have this weird, like, sympathetic, empathetic, I don't know, part of my brain, it almost reaches my stomach. I don't like seeing people that I like die, especially in like brutal ways. Like, I don't mean that for reality, of course, that would be bad. Even like fictional and all that. Like, and the first time I really discovered that about myself was there's a movie called The Lazarus Effect. It's a horror movie with Olivia Wilde and Donald Glover and whatever, and some other people. And in that movie, Donald Glover he's like a demon spirit thing, force pushes him into like this cabinet and just like closes it around him like a can and crushes him. And like something about that hit me when I was like 13, where I was like, I like Donald Glover, and that made me really upset. And that like has followed. It's the reason. So like the one reason I don't play a lot of Mortal Kombat games, I don't want to see characters that I like just get their faces chopped off all the time. It bums me out. So seeing Cole get his head crushed, while it may have been pretty cool, there was this weird sinking I got in my stomach that just went, I didn't like that. Because I don't like seeing people I like, even if they're fictional, just die.
Donald Glover doesn't come back to life?
No, that movie does not have a happy ending.
Okay. I didn't know if that was all. Doesn't Lazarus in the Bible, doesn't he come back to life?
Yeah, I don't think this movie cared about the Bible at all.
Okay. Got you. I think that's very fair though. And I do think though that makes stories, at least for me, hit harder and like it makes me remember them more if there is like that emotional impact. But I definitely hear what you're saying.
It's also it's also different. Like I watched Train to Busan the other day. Like as much as I like Don Lee, I'm a huge Don Lee fan, and I loved his character in Train to Busan. But like watching him get bit and like his slow turn into a zombie was actually like really cool and really well done. So that's like a weird, different moment where I'm like, that was cool. That was neat.
Yeah.
If you don't like watching characters you care about die, never watch Supernatural.
I got about 5 seasons in, and that's when I stopped.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, I watched all 15 a couple times, but I know Dan's a fan as well. Because Dan has been watching that to kind of like, if it's too late to turn on a movie, I've just been like kind of rewatching Supernatural since I know it well enough that I can just turn my brain off. And I got home from the movie last night. I watched Strickland win the belt back, and then I watched the episode where Charlie dies in Supernatural. So it was just a rough night all around for me.
I tend to end stuff like that by watching like Taskmaster or Ted Lasso.
Okay.
Like I can't remember what it was, but I watched something. It might have been like Midsommar or something like that. But like I remember like driving home with my wife, I was like, we're watching Ted Lasso when we get home. I was like, I just need to watch the happiest thing in the world.
Yeah, it's a heavy watch. Is there any character here you guys feel is like sort of wasted or underused?
I would have liked to see more of Jax.
Yeah, dude.
Like
in both movies, Jax is just there to like quip and just be like say one-liners, and I'm like, he can be a character. Like what?
Yeah, like
I don't know.
Especially like he's like when he grabs Jade's staff, he's like, "What is this made of?" But like, I don't know. That was like the one thing I was like, "Oh, this was whatever." But I wanted so much more from him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the movie markets so much on Noob Saibot. Which is like the resurrected Sub-Zero, that like he pops in for like what a fight scene and that's it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, that's all you're gonna do with that character.
I mean, Sub-Zero is like maybe out before last night. Sub-Zero is maybe the only Mortal Kombat character I could have ever told you their name. So that's probably why.
I probably would have liked but if you're gonna do that, like I probably would have liked to bring in Sub-Zero's brother, because there's multiple Sub-Zeros. Like the first one dies, and then the second one comes in. There's always a second one. It's like little brother or something. It's like maybe bring in the little brother.
They kind of get around that with the like he splits himself into two.
Right.
But I also thought Sub-Zero and Hiroyuki Sanada, once the mirage of his hell he created, which I thought was kind of cool, like falls away. But his like CGI face looked fucking weird. And I thought Sub-Zero looked bad. There was some part like I thought Baraka looked great.
He did.
Looked awesome. Loved every bit of that. That actor, CJ Bloomfield, he is he's had a really rough life. He was a Hell's Angel in Australia and involved in like some pretty serious crime. Ended up getting arrested and going away. And kind of was able to turn his life around. Got a part in the Mad Max movies. And then got this part. I thought he did a great job. I thought he was really entertaining.
You know who I didn't recognize at all was Quan Chi I can't remember which guy. I'm looking at the actors here on my notes, and I don't remember which one he is. But Quan Chi, maybe it's Damon Harriman. He's Manson. He's Manson in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh.
Didn't recognize him. I mean, obviously he's wearing a bunch of makeup, but I'm like, didn't clock that one bit.
Yeah, I did not realize that either. He's also in Mindhunter, excuse me. Wait, he's in Mindhunter as?
I think he's Manson in both.
You're right. Oh wow, that's crazy.
That's a weird thing to keep getting typecast as.
Like we need Charles Manson in this.
Donnie Yen's about to be typecast as a blind man for the rest of his career.
Yeah, but I kind of don't mind a little bit.
He's very memorable in the two roles.
But with what is it? With I mean, obviously they said at the end of this they're gonna go into hell and get all these characters back or whatever. If they're in hell, I don't know if they're in hell. But there's a weird rumor that I think it's just people who don't like Cole, because people just don't like Cole. There's a weird rumor that when they bring back Louis Tan, he's going to become Kenshi, which is a completely different character from the games. As we bring up a blind man, he's a blind guy with a sword, and he is very cool. He's one of my favorite characters. But people are saying that he's not going to come back as Cole and he's going to come back as Kenshi. But I think it's just because people don't like Cole. I don't know.
Is he?
I just find that
the first one.
No,
it's just that he's not he doesn't come from the game, so people were just immediately like, "Why is he here?"
But I mean, I guess like if I was a big fan of some video game, I don't know. I'm a very boring video game player. Like I'm like Rocket League, Madden, and MLB. Like
initially, before the first one came out, I thought he was going to be Johnny Cage because like they had given us the list of who everybody was. Even if you looked at IMDb, it said who everybody was except for him. He was blank. And I was like, I mean, who's left? Obviously he's Johnny Cage, and obviously he wasn't Johnny Cage.
Are there any other characters from Mortal Kombat you would like to see, Tristan? And so I'm assuming like this movie, they made the first movie for 55 million. It made 85 million. I'm assuming that was during.
But it was
COVID?
like the first. It was like one of the first big day and day releases during COVID.
Yeah, and then they made this for 80 million, which is like it was definitely a risk. It's a lot of money, and it's at 63 so far. But I'm assuming there will be a third, or they'd like to have a third.
Yeah, I mean they tease a third. I think if there's any characters I would like to see introduced, it would be bring in Sub-Zero's brother, because I'd like, gotta have another Sub-Zero. Kenshi, again, he's just dope. He's a blind swordsman type with like some telekinesis powers. And then like, I don't know, like Sector and Cyrax, probably they're robots. They're people from like the modern version of, are they Lin Kuei? I don't remember if they're Lin Kuei or they're from Scorpion's clan. They're ninjas who like get forced to join this program where their minds are put in like robot bodies, and so they can be controlled, and they're robots, but they're ninjas, but they're robots, and they're cool.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask you, I don't know if it was like underbaked. Can you explain, I guess, the lore a little bit? Like, is Shang Tsung essentially challenging every single realm, and if you lose to Shang Tsung 10 times in a row, he takes your realm? Like, are there iterations of Mortal Kombat for every different realm? Because I feel like it doesn't really quite make sense. But
I don't remember, from my knowledge of the games, which I'm not going to be the full-on expert, but from my knowledge of the games, we don't ever really get to see a tournament going on with another realm. The only one like we see in this movie is Katana's realm. And like, that's the one I know, like, yeah, Katana's realm does get invaded after they lose Mortal Kombat. She like as a child gets adopted by Shao Kahn. That's pretty classic Mortal Kombat. It's the only ones I really can think of from the games is that and Earth. And Eventually,
So
within like after they lose the first tournament, after the bad guys lose and the heroes save Earthrealm, they essentially just like they find a way to Outworld finds a way to break the rules and invade Earth anyway. Typically, mostly happens.
okay,
Also, one thing
gotcha.
that bothered me with this movie is I would have liked to have been told a schedule. When are we fighting? When are these scheduled fights? When is the tournament? Because it seemed like random, 3 separate random occasions. Oh, I'm
And
disappearing now. I'm
Shang
gonna
Tsung
go fight
fights
now.
multiple times. Like, how the fuck is that allowed?
Well, Shao Kahn fights multiple times. Well, it's the
Yeah.
same.
Sorry, Shao Kahn.
It's the same like 5 people on each thing. It's after you lose, you get eliminated. So he beats Cole. He goes on to fight.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he goes on to fight anybody else. He just fights Cole, and then he gets the 2-on-1 against Liu
Katana
Kang and
and
Sonya.
Did Katana's
Sonya, yeah.
like realm have 2 other fighters? Because didn't we only see Katana, Jade, and then Shao Kahn?
So there was Katana, Jade, Shao Kahn, Sindel. And was there somebody else?
Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot.
Is that all? Is it just 4? Am I missing somebody?
Didn't someone else die?
Katana, Jade, Sindel, Shao Kahn.
Sonya killed the witch or whatever.
She killed Sindel. Yeah,
okay, that's Sindel. Was there a 5th?
Sonya fought Sindel. Johnny Cage fought Katana.
Oh, who did Liu Kang fight?
Liu Kang fought Kung Lao. Yes, Kung Lao.
Yeah,
5.
Yeah, there it is. How do we forget all of our favorite fights?
Yeah. It's because the movie doesn't do a good job of explaining things.
Yeah, and then at the end, like Katana's not from Earth, but she's just like,
But
I'm
she
gonna
fights
fight
for
for
Earthrealm.
Earth now, and then
Yeah.
they take away a thing from.
Yeah.
It feels like they're kind of flying by the seat of their pants. I'm not quite
There
sure about
are,
this
like-
tournament.
It feels
There
like you're
are
playing a
elder
game with your
gods.
friends in the backyard and you're making up the rules as you go. And there's
Right.
always that one kid that moves the goalpost in his favor.
You know what mine as a kid was? Because I did that all the time. I'm a little brother. My brothers are 5 years older than me. Mine in that was whenever my brothers were doing something, I would put my hand up and I would go, Matrix. and whatever I was doing was like I was stopping them.
Damn,
yeah.
that's a lot of power.
Right.
I'm also the little brother, and it was always the older brother moving the goalpost because I couldn't really stand up to him.
Right. And my
Yeah,
brothers were
fun
just
fact,
like,
one
you
time.
can't do that.
We had a replica Nimbus 2000, and I wanted to play with
shoot.
it one time, so I ripped it out of his hands and smacked him in the head with it, and he
Oh,
punched
dang.
me in the throat, and I thought
that's
that
how
was
you
the
change
last
the
day
game.
on Earth.
But yeah,
Damn.
the Mortal Kombat, there are elder gods who are supposed to be like in control and in charge of like how Mortal Kombat works. Obviously, we don't see
Where
any
are
of
they
them.
at?
So we don't see any of them. So like whenever she does decide like I'm changing teams and you see her light go out and go on the other side, it's like, okay, I'd like to see a god show up and be like, you can do that.
Yeah. What is like power scaling wise? How does Raiden's not a god, right? He's like
He is a god. He's not an elder god. And I don't know. There's more. I'm sure there's far more to things than that. But he is the god of thunder. Yes.
are there other gods that we haven't seen?
Like I don't know, like Shinnok and probably some other things that I can't think of the name of. There's a god of time. There's a god of this. There's a god like I said at the end of like 11, Liu Kang becomes like the god of reality or something. Yeah.
Okay. I also thought the scene where Raiden gets his throat slit was pretty intense. I didn't see
Yeah,
that
it was.
coming, but
Didn't see that coming at all.
doesn't end up dying. But still, I thought it was a solid
It was a shock. It was a twist.
Yeah. The only other big character I can think of they could include is Reptile. That would
Well,
be
he
kinda
died.
fun.
He's in the first.
He's in the first?
He's in the first. You just couldn't tell because he wasn't a ninja. He was just a literal reptile.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
He's just
yeah.
a reptile.
Yeah, I don't know why they did him like that because he's kind of a cool
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, and that's like the first fight in that movie that made me
You're right.
angry. That
Yeah.
really frustrated me.
Yeah, that's a good point. How would you describe? How do you think this movie views itself? And do you think it views itself any differently from the first movie, like in terms of the tone and like what it's trying to be, or do you think it's the same, different? I think that's
Yeah, I think there is a darkness to the first one that the second one probably does not have. It's weird to say it's got a lighter tone because with the first one, our vessel that we as an audience follow is Cole, and he is in no way a comedic character. Whereas in this one, I guess we have two vessels, one of them being Katana, who has the far better plot, the far better story, and kind of deserved more time. But then the other one is a comedic frame for the movie, and that is Johnny Cage. So I think just in him being our gateway into this movie, the movie itself has a lighter tone, and then also just Kano. Kano in the first movie was the comic relief, whereas in this one, also like the Baraka moment of like him being like stunned by Johnny Cage's moves, and just immediately he's no longer is violent. He no longer wants to kill Johnny Cage. He's like, this is the greatest man I've ever met in my life. Like, yes, there is definitely a lighter tone to this than the first one has, as much as a movie where somebody gets their head crushed in can be light.
Yeah, I agree. What would you like to see from the third movie? Anything in particular, just overall? Like, is there anything that would make you happy, or changes, or do you think we'll probably just get more of the same?
Yeah, sadly, I'm getting in this moment a bit of a Transformers vibe, in that we're just going to keep getting more of the same. Like, I'd like us to eventually get a Bumblebee. I like that movie. It's a good. But we're probably just going to get a Last Night or whatever that one's called. So like, really what I want to see. Yeah, I don't remember a single bit of it. I forgot everything about it the next day. What I want to see is just good fucking fight scenes. Yeah. And like the two moments I knew this movie was doomed for me, and I promised watching this in theaters going in 9 o'clock at night after work. I threw that all away. I left it at the door. I wanted to just leave my expectations there and take in what the movie was. But the moment they announced Carl Urban as Johnny Cage, I was like, that's not good. As much as I love Carl Urban, I was like, that's not good. That means we're going to have him be charismatic and fun, and the fight scenes are going to be shit, which they were, in my opinion. And then the moment they said that Simon McCoy was coming back to direct the second one after he directed the first one, and I was like, that's worse. You got the guy who made a bad movie to come back and do the sequel and make another bad movie. And I heard an interview with him where he said that he initially, he didn't get into film. He was a graphic designer. And my thought was, yeah, buddy, I can tell. I'm like, Jesus. So if they're just going to keep bringing back the same director to make the same thing, which obviously if they thought the first one was successful, he did a good job. Seems like this one's doing pretty good. They're going to trust him enough to come back and do the third one. So they're just going to keep doing the same Michael Bay Transformers movie. And I'd eventually like a Travis Knight Bumblebee, but we're probably not going to get that.
Who would be your pick to direct?
Timo Chianto. I know I keep going back to
someone who knows
action.
Combat. Like, yes, action. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, he's like the obvious one. Like Kenji Tanigaki is about to have The Furious come out. I think Dan's already seen it. Go fuck yourself.
I didn't go to. There was something else that night, and I didn't end up going. But
oh my god,
yeah.
So he's about to have The Furious come out. So like, maybe that might get him in someone's good graces to do it. Who knows? But Timo Chianto has just proven since 2016, 2018, with The Night Comes for Us and Headshot and The Big Four and The Shadow Strays, that not only is he going to give you incredible action sequences, he's going to give you incredibly violent, gory, brutal action sequences. Sounds like something that would make a good Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah. I wanted to say quickly, first of all, it's a little bit bizarre. Like, Simon McQuoid, he's like an older man. He just makes his directorial debut with fucking Mortal Kombat and then makes another one. It's an interesting situation. But
that was his directorial debut.
The first one was his directorial debut.
I think he's in his 60s or 50s.
He's an older guy,
Yeah. But the first one had like 3 writers, which I think you
Mhm.
feel. This one was written by Jeremy Slater. I got to talk about the filmography because his debut as a writer was the Lazarus Effect, which is
Oh, dang it.
which but that same year he wrote Fanforstic with
Oh my
Simon
god.
Kinberg and Josh Trank.
I hate Hollywood. I hate Hollywood
Then in
so much.
2017 he wrote the American Death Note. Then in
Yeah,
2024 he co-wrote Godzilla X Kong.
that's bad.
He's still going. And then this year he has this, and he also did the story for the Coyote versus Acme movie, which is
Who knows?
finally
I'm
coming
excited.
out.
I
So
just I
wild
Hollywood
career.
Hollywood bothers me so much where like they just like their established writers and they want to keep paying them. I don't freaking know. I don't know. Is there some sort of writers guild that someone needs to break up and reform? Because every time there's a bad movie, you look at it, it's the same 4 writers.
I think Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are trying to do something with that because I think it was like a fan that helped them write the script for Air,
Mhm.
and they decided to open up their own company after Air came out and had a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit of
yeah, yeah, yeah.
success because that's how Damon and Affleck got their success. Obviously, was Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. And
So maybe that'll lead to something.
I do put, and again, I don't think this is a bad movie. I think this is a vast improvement on the first one. That being said, the first one was terrible, in my opinion. This one was a vast improvement, but it went from terrible to good enough. I don't even think it's good. I think it's good enough.
Would you
But
give it?
I gave it a 2.5. The dude
Okay.
made a movie. Good job. It's a movie. But I think I truly do blame him as a director, and I don't know if he edited it or who was editing it, but I blame him and the editor because I love the choreography team. The fight choreographers that worked on this are a guy named Malai Kim and Michael Lair. I have been a fan of their work for like 10 years. They make incredible short films on YouTube. They've been doing stunts and stuff in bigger movies, but like their stuff is really on YouTube. Malai Kim has a beautiful short film called Man on Chair that is like, it'll make you cry. It's so good. I'm not even talking about the fight scene. I mean, like, when I say choreography is storytelling, that short film, Man on Chair, choreography is fucking storytelling, and that short makes me cry. It's so good.
Mhm.
They worked on this movie, and I choose to believe that they did a good job. They did a good job with at least that one fight scene that I like, and that's what happens when you still take good choreography and give it to people who can't do the stuff. It doesn't matter how much they tried to train these actors; they still obviously couldn't do it efficiently enough, authentically enough to not have to constantly cut around them. So I think, I don't know. I blame the director and I blame the editors for that because the fight
Yeah.
choreographers are freaking professionals. They're good.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And I think that's just I was hoping for better combat because if you're gonna make a Mortal Kombat movie, the combat should probably
Mm-hmm.
be hitting. But overall, I mean, I'm not upset that I watched this. I had
Yeah.
fun. I laughed a few times.
Josh Lawson's delightful.
Yes.
Uh,
He brings a lot of energy to this that was needed. And I would say I feel like if you think you're going to enjoy this, you'll probably enjoy it. If you think you're going to hate it, you're probably not going to like it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead, Connor.
My one final comment I wanted to make on the movie too, since Dan has a reputation on this podcast for hating child actors, is I do think whoever played the young Katana, I think she did really well.
Yes. Great job.
So I've said how I thought. I've said how I feel about this movie. But I don't think I'm going to be the popular opinion on that one. From what I've seen online, and I'm like, obviously, I'm in like the action spaces, I'm in the martial arts spaces. I've seen some people in the action space say they truly loved this movie. And I've seen some people just say it's good enough. It's fine. It's whatever. It like it doesn't exactly hit what they want to hit, and they're waiting for the Furious. That's when they'll be happy, and I think I will be too. I believe that if you want Mortal Kombat, if you are a big Mortal Kombat fan, and all you want to see is Mortal Kombat be Mortal Kombat in the most Mortal Kombat way possible, you are going to have an amazing time. And if you want anything more than that, it's not quite going to reach your criteria.
Yeah. I think it feels like the game. and it looks like it, and I think they went for that, and I think we would both like to see maybe something a little bit more, but it does feel like it, and I think it will make most fans happy, especially because Cole gets his head smashed in. So
Yeah. And he's supposed to come back as Kenshi, is what the rumor is.
yeah. But my final thought would be leave Cole alone. He was a good character.
Cole is not the reason. Yeah, I told this to my brother the other day. We were at lunch, and he was like, "Why'd they do Cole?" And I stopped him, and I stopped him from talking, and I just went, "Cole is not the problem with that movie. The whole movie is bad." And he kind of stopped, and he was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Scapegoat.
Woo.
All right. Well, Dan, what'd you give it? I gave it a 2.5 as well.
I haven't rated it yet. It'll be between a 2.5 and a 3. Like, I think this movie's mostly doing what it wants to do. I like I said, I had fun. I hate that word fun to describe movies, but I had fun. I think it's very lazy. But it made me laugh a lot. And that's really what I was hoping for. I think this movie is a bit more self-aware than the first one, which is good, but still like having respect for the material, which I think is good. It's fine.
I've yet to see anybody truly hate it, and I think that's a positive. I've not seen a single critique say it's terrible. I've only seen people go from it's fine, and I've seen great, but I've not seen a single person say it's terrible.
I've seen one person on Letterboxd who I didn't even realize I followed, gave it a 1 star.
Mm-hmm.
So, someone from the Rail Talk podcast.
Harsh.
Yeah. I didn't read his review. I don't know what he didn't like about it, but neither here nor there.
Yep.
All right. Tristan, thank you for being on. Before we actually close the episode, though, for our audience who have been with us for a while, Stone has made the decision to step away from the podcast. He's got a lot going on in his personal
This is the
life.
first I'm hearing of this. Sorry,
so, for those longtime listeners, you're back to just Dan and I going forward and the guests that we seek out to bring on. So, appreciate Stone for everything he did for us, though, and look forward to seeing what he does. No bad blood, though. We still love you, Stone, if you're listening.
Yes, absolutely.
But before we close it out, Tristan, tell them where they can find you.
Martial Arts Film Freak everywhere. Martial Arts Film Freak on YouTube. Been doing it for coming up on 10 years. I have a podcast over on that channel called I Welcome You to Kung Fu, where I have talked to Dan.
It's a lot of fun.
And I've talked to Stone, and I need to talk to Conor at some point soon. And it's a podcast where I have my guest, who probably is not neck deep in Kung Fu cinema, pick any Kung Fu movie, martial arts movie from the world, from history that they want to watch. And I pick a movie that complements their choice. And we watch both movies. We talk about both movies. And I just do it so I can introduce more people to a genre that I love. But yes, Martial Arts Film Freak on YouTube, where that podcast is located. Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Martial Arts Film Freak everywhere. And probably back on this podcast whenever Street Fighter comes out.
Yeah.
Just booking
or the Furious.
Right now, if you guys talk about the Furious, I better be here.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I'm going to be real bummed out if this doesn't play in my theater and I have to drive to fucking Nashville.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have an episode to tell you we're talking about next week, as Dan and I haven't spoke about that yet. But until next time, thank you all for listening in.